I hope you're doing well. I hope that you're finding the gift in this moment. I was just listening to Elizabeth May, who is the head of the Green Party in Canada. The Green Party, as you might suspect, is for, the environment. And what I loved about what she just spoke, she spoke it from the heart without reading a speech. And to me, that's the true essence of any of us, when we can talk from what comes through us, and we can experience the messages that come through us and the emotions that come through us. And in this that she just shared, she was saying the world has come together and put lives as a priority versus money. And in this sense, as in she was saying in 10 hours from now, that the first dawn will be on the place where the cave of Jesus was supposed to be. There is a dawn of a new day, and there is a dawn within each of us to come and say we are giving birth to a whole new world. The best whole new world, as I like to say it, but the best whole new world for each and every one of us. Today has been a day for me of releasing some of those emotions. I heard, I've placed it on my post, a beautiful young girl, Savannah, and her father singing the prayer. And it reminded me of the music that filled my house, reminded me of the voice of my eldest daughter, Destiny, reminded me of the voice of Faith, my youngest daughter, and their ability to sing and share music and to create. They're still living on planet Earth. Yet for those that know my story, they have drawn a boundary with Mom, because Mom is the forever optimist, and has had a lot of emotions going through her the past couple of years. It's almost like I had to release all these emotions that I could feel were coming, because this is about me being well rooted in what I've been trained to do for most of my life, which is to trust my inner guidance and to go from the caterpillar into the chrysalis, and the chrysalis and the butterfly. And as I shared with people earlier today, it's like you can never rip open the chrysalis. You can never rip it open and get that butterfly out and think that butterfly is going to fly. The butterfly has to grow strong enough wings. And as much as I'm a firm believer that everybody's playing the perfect part in what needs to happen in this great global transformation, there's many emotions that come up in each of us. And when there's sadness, or there's grief, or there's doubt, or there's fear, or there's any sort of thing, it's to allow it to come through and to move through it. Because when we allow it to move through it, we realize how much more strength we have, and how much more freedom, and how much more connection. So as I embrace the fact that, wow, I don't have those beautiful voices around me right now, I realized that it's been a gift, because if they were still around me, I would never have been able to dig deep down for myself to really trust that my wings are going to fly on my own. Because they're not on my own. Because I do believe that there's a higher power, and I call that power God. And that it's not a great big man in the sky for me. It's an energy, a space, a connection that goes through each and every one of us. And we can see it as a man, and we can see it as a woman, but I can see it in each and every one of us. And when we, each and every one of us, recognize that each of us is an individualized expression of that universal consciousness, we realize the caterpillar goes into the chrysalis, goes through the suffering and the transformation, and then comes into the butterfly. When I left corporate in 1991 to trust my inner guidance to go to Africa, and give up everything in what I saw, stop taking medication, start a whole new journey. I did make all that traditional world wrong. I didn't want to be part of a monetary system that was busy pushing people on drugs all the time and nobody ever really feeling happy and fulfilled. Yet in the chrysalis, when I had my children, it was pretty much a back and forth, one to trust, and then another one to go, oh, maybe I'm wrong, and another one to trust. And there were so many experiences I had during that process. And then for those that know, that in 2014, when I'm guided to leave Ontario and ended up in Prince Edward Island, it's like the whole new world began. And I saw that although Prince Edward Island was never on my bucket list, wasn't my law of attraction, I surrendered to trusting, and we were here, and everything worked out beautifully for us. And Destiny and Faith were in places in college and high school where they got to experience more creativity and more support for their voices. So could I easily see them, and I've heard them talk about it, creating that virtual presence and sharing their gifts? Absolutely. Do I know that that's what they're going to do? No. I have to trust what they're learning, where they're learning it, is what they need to learn to grow their own roots. I had that experience during my marriage. And as much as in conversations, I'd like to say that there were things that were wrong, I always believed that deep down, everything that happened was there for me to grow stronger, for me to overcome my fears, because I used to be terrified. I used to be terrified of the slightest little sound or anything outside myself. I used to want to have control and know how everything was going to work out. And when I didn't, and I felt completely out of control or extreme fear or terrified, I would just retreat and almost go to sleep. I might have the happy face on, but inside I was terrified. And all that healing had to occur, the healing from the inside out. And that's what's going on all across the planet. People are being faced with their fears, whether they're on their own, and they're wondering, am I going to have anybody that's going to notice that I'm in my house and take care of me? Am I going to have the fear of, do I have any income? Do I have a job? Am I going to get that thing and be one of those people that's going to be on the respirator and die? The fear of death, fear of loss of money, and fear of change. 3 fundamental fears that we're facing. Fear of facing ourselves. And as I've shared many times in these past couple of weeks, is these people that are identified as essential workers, most people traditionally had never given them the time of day. And now they're essential, and we're actually loving and caring for them, yet they've always been there. And that, in a sense, is recognizing almost like the shadow of who we are, recognizing that we are embracing everyone and everything they do. The fisherman and the farmer now is too most important now if we are to keep growing food, or as I know, I was just seeing my friend Miguel, organic and gardens are all popping up. Everybody has a passion, and everybody is being guided in a particular way to help move this transformation. Those of us that have known that this has been coming for a long time have seen it coming in many different ways. And we can have many different stories of why this happened, but the fact of the matter is it's happening right now. So as you realize whatever you need to realize for yourself, as you face whatever it is you face in your emotions, in your feelings, it's just you. It's just you with the thoughts that are coming to you, and you're in between those spaces. And when you have that emotion, just release it. Just cry and release it. Release the sadness or the doubt, or, is it really all going to work out? Is it really all going to work out? And then realize that other sense within yourself that I can feel. It's like this is like a residual emotion. Of course I know it's going to work out. That is so much, 99% of my whole being. And this leftover emotion, it's like popping a pimple, has got to come out. Because that, for me, is what it's all about. Is being a butterfly is a whole new world. Being a butterfly is trusting that health is natural, that abundance is natural. But opening and receiving this world is a whole other experience. Giving up control and giving up there's something you need to do, and just honoring moment by moment in the surrender of the flow is what I call life. Neither of us know what next moment is going to happen, or the next moment. Time is collapsing, people are shifting consistently, and as much as you might have snippets of what could happen, or ideas of where others need to be, the journey that each person needs to take is defined by what they feel guided to do. And I'm going to say that again, because I've seen within many people, I might know what they need to get to, this destination. I can feel it within my bones. I never say that. I never tell anybody what I feel that they really need to do or how they're going to get there, because I've seen that they may have many, many paths to turn, many other experiences before they get to the promised land. So I might like to say, let's take the shortcut, let's get right there. But if they don't have the experiences, if they don't convince themselves of the truth that exists within them, then when everybody's opinion is saying go this way, they are going to be susceptible, and they're going to be like a sheep, and they're going to go that way. They're going to, when the wolf shows up in sheep's clothing, and they have yet to grow strong enough roots, they're going to follow the wolf in sheep's clothing. But when their roots are strong as a redwood California tree, when there is such complete conviction in themselves, it is irrelevant what's going on outside you, because a whole world happens in here. And the freedom in the world. It's like listening to Savannah and her dad talking about, they sang the song, a million, but it's basically about the same idea that you could think I'm crazy, and some people would think I'm crazy, that I do believe that healing happens from inside, that anything can be healed. And it's about not only what you eat or what you're doing, it's about this vibration, about it's being connected. And I had that experience from November 11th, 2011. That was my experience. I've had these experiences to convince myself. If you've never had the experience, you can say, well, I don't know what she's talking about. And that's okay. Everybody has a certain role to play in this production. Everybody has a certain note to play in our universal symphony. And when we notice these people that are playing music or singing music or dancing or laughing and making us giggle, or just coming online and having, coffee parties or connecting this way, we're realizing that we can be everything that we really design the world to be. We're just in the chrysalis. We're just in the chrysalis. And when we can keep finding the joy and sending the love out to everybody, if we really love each other and trust and realize that caring for each other is the most important thing, and you can do that whether it's with like we can't go hugging everybody right now, but you can virtually hug them. You can virtually send out love every day in your prayers and meditation. Those that have been doing it, it's constant. It's constant. You have the power within you. Let that power out. Be your lighthouse. And in that process of maybe the light sputtering because you've got some tears to cry, or some anger to let out, like, how could this happen? How could they not have done that? You need to get rid of that judgment. Get rid of that judgment. If you need to blame and say, my gosh, how come that person wasn't there to help me? Or why did that person go in a group of 10 when they were only supposed to be in 5? If you need to release that judgment release it, because you're the only one. It's like being in a car and yelling at the person that cut you off. The person that cut you off never heard you, but you're like, ah! So do what you need to do to release your body of all those emotions that are constricting it, because that is impacting your immune system. And it's impacting the way you perceive life. It's affecting you. And everything is okay in that experience, because that's your experience. It's only when you keep holding on and saying, I wish it was different, I wish it was different. And all I'm saying is let it go. Let the bird fly out of the hand and turn to an open door and see what is revealed for you. So with emotion, it's about letting the emotion go, letting it go. When you go, it's like pouring out the glass. Oh my gosh, it's gone. And then you receive more. You receive more feelings of joy. You receive connections. You receive channeled information for what your next step is. And that's all it is right now. We're all in this together. We're all big one whole. We just individualized expressions. And at this particular time on this weekend, with it being Passover, and I think with, Ramadan's coming, and, this is Easter tomorrow, and I think the Tamils have a holiday too. And maybe even the Baha'is. It's very much this time, springtime is all about releasing and renewal. So it's perfect weekend that if you died to your habits on Friday and then tomorrow you can wake up brand new. Imagine what that be like for you. So let it all go. These 3 days is just let it all go and rise again Sunday, Monday, and recognize that everything is all within. Transmission out.